And we are back with still what is the weakest position in the entire game, the small forwards tier list. We've already done the point guards and the shooting guards, and both will be linked in the description down below, so you can check those out and have an absolute blast of a time looking at them. Links in the description. If you guys are excited about this wonderful tier list we got here, hit that like button down below, as well as comment as we get on throughout the video if you guys think some guys are too high, too low, just right, all that wonderful stuff. And hit that subscribe button if you are new to the channel. We have 5 obviously tiers. That's how a tier list works. We got the demons, we got the baby demons, we got the great bench options, some guys that you should be picking, you know, your starting lineup, I think, out of one of these 2 tiers, and then you can kind of grab a bench guy for some of these. We got some guys that are solid but nothing crazy, maybe some offline types, and then we have some guys that you should kind of avoid and not really try out too much at this point in the year. So before we fully get into this video, we do have a sponsor for today's video, so let's get and hear that message right now. If you need your 12-0 unlimited domination, TTO, or even more services grinded, go contact Rose NBA on Twitter right now at twitter.com/r6creditssell. Link in the description down below. And now we can get it started with the not the best tier with all of these wonderful guys right here. Justice Winslow, James Ennis, PJ Dozier, Carmelo Anthony, Andre Iguodala, Will Barton, Nicholas Batum, Grant Hill, Josh Okogie, Otto Porter, and usually, you know, I'll go through and I'll just kind of like say what's going on with them, but all of these cards are kind of outdated besides these 2, which are kind of new and they suck. So just don't pick up these cards in. I'll say it right now, don't pick up these cards. They're not worth your time. No thank you. Maybe Iggy if you're really feeling spicy, because he can be a decent card. I just hate his release, so you know what, he's down in the dumps and I don't even feel bad about it. So starting off the wonderful, solid, but not the crazy tier, we have the man, the myth, the legend, Larry Bird, and this Amethyst is clutch. I cannot tell you the amount of limited games that this Larry Bird himself has absolutely clutched for me, but in saying that, he still is kind of a bit outdated of an Amethyst, and he is an Amethyst. I mean, at this point, everybody kind of has all dark matter lineups. So, you know, Larry Bird is absolutely wonderful when he steps out on that court. The Larry Bird jumper for me personally is amazing. Everything's great about him. Even the Pro 3 can be really fun to go out there and have a nice, I guess, mix up from all the curvy sliding stuff like that with him. So, all around, beautiful Amethyst. Next up is Joe Harris, basically your knockoff version of Drazen Petrovic. If you wanted to go, or didn't want to go 12-0 unlimited, you had this Joe Harris, and he's like solid at that. But either way, just nothing crazy. I'm not a big fan of the jumpers, things like jump shot 35, pulls you in a little bit too much. Not my personal thing. Next up is Desmond Bang, who actually has his own signature jumper. It's actually, pretty cool. I will say that. But Desmond Bang is a severely undersized small forward. I think at the shooting guard position, he can actually be pretty, solid. But all around, not my favorite card. Next up is Aaron Nesmith, a Ray Allen based player. 6'5", ain't the greatest small forward again, I'll say that. But at the 2 guard, he's actually pretty nice, I'll say that. So, can be fun if you know what you're doing. Next up is the wonderful Carmelo Anthony. Team USA kind of missing my mans right now, let me say that. But Carmelo just has some of the worst, dribbling animations of the game. I love the Melo jumper, and I actually think this card is a lot better than a lot of people gave it credit for throughout the year. But if we're being honest, he's definitely not like the top tier players. Next up is Koran Butler, the man, the myth, the legend. He's just a great guy, man, Koran Butler. But I kind of hate the jumper. So some people probably would say he's a great bench option, but for me, he's got jump shot 17, and I absolutely hate that jumper. And it's really, I don't know, it's not for me personally. Anyway, but everything else he's good. He's a good defender and that sort of stuff, but just not really my type. Next up is Alec Burks. Again, another pretty good card that I think can be, nice and fun, but all around just isn't, I don't know, my favorite guy. For a pink diamond, he's actually pretty good, but other than that, meh. Next up is Jarrett Culver, a guy who they kind of hoed because they just gave him some pretty bad dribbling animations, and I don't think, if I remember correctly, I'm going to type it in really quick, so sorry if you hear the keys, but I'm pretty sure they never gave Jarrett Culver. Oh no, they did get Jarrett Culver with the trade break base, but they gave him the Pro 4 behind the back and Pro 3s, which again, can be fun. But the thing that kills this card is the slasher dribble style. It is one of the worst dribble styles in the game, and it just kills any momentum you can have with Culver. If you still have him, that's cool, that's great. You got real lucky out of the that glitched vault, whatever it was. I kind of forget because it pissed me off. But, there's that. And last but not least is Jay Crowder, who's kind of like a worse Jordan, or James Harden. It's just, I don't know, man. That James Harden jumper is just way too baited, way too slow to really, I don't know, be anything nice. It's just got a big load up in the beginning, which kind of kills it. And while this Jay Crowder could be great, in the other aspects like defense, there's just so many better options, especially at the small forward. I just don't really think it's great. So, there is that. Next up, we have our perfect bench options, or our great bench options. I didn't change the stuff that I can see on the side. I didn't change that, so I apologize if I say a few of the tier lists wrong. But it's great bench options, and we are starting it off with Joe Ingles, a card that I don't think gets a lot of love from the Gauntlet Spotlight. I mean, you know what? It's probably because it's Joe Ingles, man. I mean, like, who really gets excited about a Joe Ingles card? But either way, I think this is one of the more fun 3-and-D cards to use. Jump shot 36 on very quick and actually be a really nice jumper to use. Plus, he's got that shifty dribble style, which is always going to be amazing. He can speed glitch around like an absolute demon, and he's actually pretty fun. His jumper and everything like that is nothing top tier, and he sometimes can feel a little lackluster on defense, but still a great guy that if you get him for a pretty easy challenge, I will say that, he can actually be nice and fun. Next up is Gordon Hayward, who is just cursed with Jump Shot 28, just one that I just kind of hate, man. I don't like Jump Shot 28. It just doesn't really feel, I don't know, amazing to me personally, but that's all, I guess, your opinion. Overall, he can be a really fun, really nice card, but I just don't like Jump Shot 28. But if you do, I think this Gordon Hayward maybe could be like a baby team, and if you're really feeling fun like that, I guess. Next up is Gerald Wilkins, who is an absolute beautiful card. He's just a fun guy, man. Jump shot 70 is always pretty nice. I do prefer him as a shooting guard because he's 6'6", but at the small forward, he can kind of have a little bit of fun, but definitely run him as your 2 if you can. It's just, Gerald Wilkins is ranked up in the great bench option just because Jump Shot 70 has a massive green window. It's so easy to time that it makes him feel better than he probably should be. Next up is Gerald Wallace, cursed from Jump Shot 4, making him one of the more inconsistent shooters, but this Gerald Wallace just absolutely is glitchy on defense, and his finishing is out of this world as well. And then you can kind of play it a little bit more careful with Jump Shot 4 on very quick. It's just, I don't know, sometimes Jump Shot 4 feels like one of the best jumpers in a game, and then sometimes low into a game, and it feels like I cannot hit the backboard to save my life, and that's kind of the problem with Jump Shot 4. It's just way too inconsistent, at least for me personally. Next up is a card who had a lot of flack, and I kind of understand why, in Dark Matter, Elgin Baler. I think when it comes to this card is that I want to pick up and just, have some fun with, just mess around and like triple threat offline or whatever. One of my first options every time is this Elgin Baler, because even at the 2, he's just nice, man. The Dante takes him base on very quick is amazing, and I feel like the main reason Elgin's hated on is because he should have been a small forward PG, and then boom, he would have been amazing. Would have been like another version of Luka, but it is what it is. Still a great fun card, just a bit undersized, especially with all the top players at this point. Next up is Sean Marion, just kind of cursed by a bad jumper, but everything else about him is absolutely amazing. And I know there's some people who actually kind of like that base. I kind of forget what it is, but no, Kelly Oubre has it as well, and it's just not one that I personally enjoy. But if you do, the Sean Marion can actually be pretty nice and a good all-around kind of, jack of all trades glue guy for you on your squad, which is always going to be a nice card to have out there, just to help out a little bit here and there. It's always nice. Next up is Richard Jefferson, one of the best slashers that I've used this year. Richard Jefferson just dunks like crazy, man, and I feel like I have a bit of a grudge against him because, Lord have mercy, getting that pink down Richard Jefferson was an absolute nightmare. But the only thing that really hurts this RJ is the fact that jump shot 57, even on very quick, is kind of a slow jumper, so you have to pick and choose your shots a little bit, but everywhere else this Jefferson is amazing, and I think as a pure slasher, he's one of the best in the game, even as a shooting guard. So overall, pretty fun, nice card, not really worth grinding out just to get him, but if you have him, nice budget out, or nice bench option out there. Next up is Paul Pierce, one of the guys you get for free from just grinding out domination, and if you're somebody who is grinding out domination, my respect goes out to you for doing that, because I will not be doing it myself. So big ups to that. I think Paul Pierce is one of those guys who it's I hit my desk. My apologies for the bang. Paul Pierce is one of those guys who is kind of bad on current gen, but pretty good on next gen. So it's like I put him in the great bench option, but I could understand if you wanted him in solid, but nothing crazy, because on current gen, he can't actually shoot in the corners. He just doesn't really hold his feet back behind the three-point line, and his foot will kind of like push up. It's a weird jumper, weird base. But on next gen, they kind of fixed that, and Paul Pierce can actually shoot in the corners, and I've actually had a bit of success just using Paul Pierce cards this year. So, personal opinion, The lack of Pro 3 behind the back does hurt him a little bit, but he still can, quick stop, all that sort of stuff, get shifty. So I think it's going to be perfectly fine. And he's got the Pro 8 cross, so he's still got another full court move that you can use to have some fun with. All around, really nice, really fun card, especially for the bench, and you get him literally for free, so it doesn't really hurt you to give him a shot if you've grinded that far. Next up is Dougie Mcdarmit, one of the most fun cards that I've done a gameplay with from the Season Rewind set. And you should know that if I'm complimenting a Season Rewind card, that it's good, because I've talked a lot of trash about these Season Rewind cards. They just got worse as the season went on. But this Dougie Mcdermott does not miss from 3, man. I think I started like 8 of 8 from 3 for the game with him. I don't know what it is about jump shot 69, but I was just smacking out everything. And at 6'8", he was great for the small forward and the shooting guard position. I loved him. I thought he was super fun. And I think just for a bench guy to come out there and just chuck threes, super fun, great underrated option out there. Next up is James Worthy, a card who I ranked really high when he first came out, but like as time's gone on, I think I've kind of faded away from James Worthy. He just doesn't really hit the same anymore. Now he is 6'9" and is a great all around, especially on the defensive end kind of guy to have out there. But that Tony Parker base sometimes just really isn't, hitting the same for me. Defensively, slashing, he was great. I don't know. The more I used Worthy, the less I liked him. So I could just be a little bit biased. If you want him in Baby Demon, that's fine. But I'm not really feeling him anymore. So I put him in a great bench option. And last but not least, for our great bench options, we have Harrison Barnes, who has a nice slept-down jumper. And again, if I'm complimenting some of these Season Rewind cards, they're actually pretty good, because I hate most of them. And this Harrison Barnes is actually pretty nice. Good jumper, good all around. Kind of can lack a little bit on defense. He just doesn't really, have that effect. But it's still great. And again, really easy jumper to time and just have a great all-around time with. So, yeah, not bad. And now, starting off our Baby Demons here, we are starting off with Khris Middleton, one of the cheapest Dark Matter cards in the entire game. But I don't know what it is about him, but he actually feels nice. Again, if I like Season Rewind cards, it's saying something about him, because most of them are quite trash. But this Khris Middleton, I think, being the best version you could have of him, not bad. But I've actually had quite the fun time with this Khris Middleton. He's got a nice jumper. It's a little bit, weird to get used to at first, so you gotta pay attention to that. It's on base 56. On very quick, same as Peja. But once you get it down, it could actually be a really money jumper. Plus, Khris Middleton's got some great defense. I was having fun slashing with him. And again, him being so cheap is always awesome. Try him out, pick him up, have some fun. Don't think you'll regret it. Next up is the Invincible Grant Hill, the Jump Shot 1 Curse. I think that's the same jumper that PJ Dozier has. So, yeah, it's not lovely. But this Grant Hill hits different when it comes to just straight driving to the basket. Just the bully ball inside. I'm telling you, this Grant Hill feels different in there. It can be really fun. Plus, for a while, he was for free on the he's for free on the Triple Threat online board. So you can have some fun with that. Pretty cool card to mess around with. Good at the 2, good at the 3. All around good card. But you got to be careful, because that jumper is a little booty. Next up is one of my favorite cards every single year, and it is Glen Rice. This Dark Matter Glen Rice. Oh man, I absolutely love him. Glen Rice cards, the reason that I like them personally is because I am a 3-point hunter. I chuck, alright? And it loses me a lot of games because I refuse to go inside if I have Sharpshooter Takeover. That's just how it is. And this Glen Rice, if you're somebody like that, is the perfect card for it. 6'7", can play the small forward and the 2 guard, and has every single shooting badge Hall of Fame, which means steady shooter and blinders. So not really a current gen card, but jump shot 13 on very quick mixed with that, it's just amazing, man. I've had so much fun just 3-point hunting, with this Glen Rice, especially on next gen, that it's just godly. He's one of the better cards on next gen when it just comes to pure shooting, and I absolutely love it. Plus, it's like 30k as well, which is pretty nice, and that's the last time I checked, so he's probably a bit cheaper. Next up is Detlef Schrempf, just a great Lino Gallinari base guy. Again, one of those dudes who I feel like offensively is absolutely amazing, but then when it comes to like the defensive end, I feel like he's a little bit lackluster in a sense. Like, he is amazing all around, but then sometimes on defense, it doesn't really hit the same. But that's just me personally. Detlef Schrempf, great. If you like the Lino Gallinari base, he's going to be the card for you, and you can have an absolute blast with him. So go out there, have some fun, try him out. Pretty easy challenge if I remember correctly. It just can feel a little bit slow at times because he only has like an 89 speed, so there's that. Next up is TJ Warren, a card that we got limited time. He had to get like 12 unlimited wins over the weekend. It wasn't a hard challenge to do, just like an annoying one, but still a good card. He's got a nice jumper, he's got some good defense, finishing's great. Just everything about this card for TJ Warren is just good. And I feel like, slept on. And not too many people have him either. So if you do, good on you. Because most of us saw 12 unlimited games and just immediately said, yeah, no thanks. And just continued grinding XP. So if you got him, big ups to that. Next up is Michael Porter Jr., the wonderful man that I ended up getting 100k snipe for to get into Bull. And I'll be honest, I think most people that pick up this Michael Porter Jr. are only doing it to get Bull, which is unfortunate for MPJ. But, I mean, at 6'10" with a 7-foot wingspan, he's going to be a good small forward, power forward option, which is awesome. And again, he's just kind of one of those guys who I feel like offensively, with jump shot 62 on very quick, he can be really nice and feel super smooth. But on the other end, on the defensive end, you know, sometimes he could be a little lackluster, which isn't great, but I think just the fact of having a guy that's 6'10" can intimidate some people and have some fun out there. So MPJ I still think's a baby demon in the grand scheme of things. Next up is Paul George at 6'9". The PG jumpers on very quick is amazing, and his defense is great. Just awesome 3-and-D option. I just think, I don't know, being a 3-and-D card at this point in the year just isn't as special. So I don't know. I put Paul George on a baby demon tier. If you want to move him up, it's cool. I don't really care. Have fun with it. He's still a great card all around. I mean, being a baby demon is no knock to him. PG is a god. Next up is LeBron James, and the reason I did this is because you will see two LeBrons popping up in the demon tier, and they both have XM base, and this LeBron has a LeBron base, which kind of just makes sense. So the LeBron James base being just not the greatest, knocked him down here because I think on current you can't shoot in the corner, which is not as bad as people make it out to be, but still a negative. So I threw him down into baby demon. Next up is Larry Kennan, a great all-around 6'9" guy. The slashing hits different. His defense is great, but he's got jump shot 4. So he's a bit inconsistent. But again, he's 6'9", and at the small forward, his defense is locked down, so I love him. Next up is the wannabe Jimmy Butler and Andrew Wiggins. Jump shot 22 on very quick is great. And I mean, Wiggins gets to the basket, dunks like crazy. Defense, a little bit spotty at times, but all around a good card, a fun card that I don't know, I like running around and having some fun with. But if you can get Jimmy because Jimmy hits different on defense, which you can see in our shooting guards tier list if you check that out. Starting off the demons here, we have the GOAT LeBron James. I mean, like, come on, man. Dante X and base, 6'9", completely small forward, and the point guard. There's no other place to put this LeBron James than up in the top tier, you know, GOAT category. That's just how it goes. This LeBron is an absolute god. It is annoying going against him. Trust me, I absolutely hate it. But it's just kind of how it goes. He has literally every single stat 99, literally every single Hall of Fame badge on both gens, which means he has blinders. So not the greatest current gen card, but dissects him on very quick for LeBron is just godly because he's a top tier small forward and a top tier PG. Just how it goes. Next up is the out of position, the Pantheon Team USA, Kevin Durant. Now, if we were rating this on his performance for Team USA, I'd probably have to knock him down to not the best, but his card is good. He is great. Kevin Durant just moves so glitchy when it comes to next gen, especially. The KD's just awesome. I know some people have some spotty times, you know, timing his jumper and everything like that. They don't understand the KD hype, but when you actually are getting the speed glitches out there and doing, you know, the cheesy stuff on 2K, there is almost no better card than this KD when you're doing it. It is just absolutely insane. Next up is Kawhi Leonard's Invincible card. Now, I've said this in a few tier lists before it, but the Invincible cards are all ranked on their own in their Invincible tier list. It'll be linked down below if you want to see where those are all ranked, and only ones that were dropped after, besides Grant Hill, because I felt like, you know what, I'll throw them on because it's a free card some people might see, will be, you know, in their position tier list. That's just kind of how I've been doing it. But Kawhi, the fastest release in the game, and Ray Allen on very quick with all 99 stats basically, and almost every single Hall of Fame badge. Yeah, it's godly, man. Next up is one of my favorite cards at this current point in time in the Hyperdrive Dark Matter Josh Smith. This card is godly. Josh Smith cards hit different on defense, and he's 6'9" with the John Wall jumper on very quick, and every single defensive badge Hall of Fame, every single finishing badge Hall of Fame besides gold tier dropper. This card just hits different. One of the best shooting guards, best small forwards in the game. He's only like, what, 50 KMT? Pick him up, try him out. I promise you, this dude is endgame, and it is crazy how good he is. Next up is the Invincible Julius Irving. Really gay base, very quick, and hits different at that slashing ability, especially the 2-guard. Love him. I will not take any Dr. J slander. He's a god. I'm still not grinding for him, but he's still a god. Next up is Cameron Reddish, who I did put up against Paul George, and you know what? Yeah, I did it. Personally, I think this PG, he's just not hitting the same as Cameron Reddish. I don't know what it is. I play better with Cameron Reddish. I know they're like virtually the same card. I'm putting them up here anyway. If you got a problem with it, that's fine. Next up is Bailey Howell, 6'7", trade break base, very quick, is money. I love him. Is Bailey Howell. I never even got him, but he is amazing. Bailey Howell cards are just honestly godly because of that trade break base, and he hits different. Next up is the 1-inch taller Dr. J in the Dentist Terry. My guy's got all 99 stats. He has the Rudy Gay base on very quick and just hits different. This Terry is an absolute god. I'm using him as my starting shooting guard right now after selling Manu, and I absolutely love it. This Terry is beautiful. Off catch, he is awesome. Even running the ball, he's great. Just all around absolute demon. End game Terry card, and I love this card. Hope we see him sometime in 2K22, especially early game because he could carry. Next up is George Girvin, who is basically a deadlift shrimp that can play the shooting guard position for 1,000 tokens. So, you know, bit expensive to get, but this Girvin is absolutely amazing. I think the one thing that's a problem with Girvin cards is the layup package, but they luckily gave him long athlete this time instead of his normal terrible scoop layups that just automatically get blocked, which is absolutely amazing. If you have the tokens to get him, probably him and Akeem are like the two best options to get out of that, but Girvin is a beast. And last but not least is the Space Jam LeBron James. Literally this GOAT LeBron James, but it can play the shooting guard instead of small forward PG. This one can play small forward shooting guard. They're identical. They're the same. Dante X and very quick. That's just how it goes. So let me know what you guys think about the list down in the comment section below. Again, yes, I did put Cameron Reddish above Paul George. Fight me. I don't care. Again, if you enjoyed, hit the like button, all that wonderful stuff. Hit that subscribe button if you are new to the channel. We are on that road to 15K subscribers. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I will see you guys in the next video.